The heat is really starting to kick up here in Texas, and you might be wondering if you can still plant anything, and if you can, what that is. And today we're gonna go over that. Hey, my name is Brooke, and I'm a certified Texas Master Gardener, and I'm here to help you with your gardening journey. So today we're gonna talk about what you can plant in the month of June for Texas. Now, Texas contains gardening zones 6 through 10. And if you don't know what your gardening zone is, I'm gonna leave a link down below so that you can find out. We're in zone 8B, so we're pretty much right in the middle of the gardening zones for Texas. Now, I don't really plant a lot of ornamentals or things that are not edible, so a lot of the things I'm gonna be going over are vegetables, herbs, and then I'll also talk about a few flowers that you can plant to help bring bees into your vegetable garden, but a lot of these are going to be edible as well. It's very important that you choose what you're planting wisely because it has to be able to survive and thrive in the triple-digit heat that we're soon going to be getting. So let's dive right in, starting with vegetable. First up is southern peas. This is not something that we've ever done, but I know that this plant is extremely heat tolerant, so you can do black-eyed peas or purple hull peas. Again, not something I've ever done, but if you guys have tried them, please feel free to leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear what your thoughts on them were. Next up, this one is one that we've been doing in our garden for years now, and not just because it's a very heavy producer, but it's also very pretty and it loves the dry heat. It literally thrives when we're into the triple digits here, and it's one of the only plants to do so. And that is okra. You might see a lot of local farmers selling okra, and that's because here it is just so easy to grow. And there's lots of ways to work with it as well. And even if you don't like the okra pods, not only can you just sell them to family, friends, and neighbors, but the flowers on the okra are very beautiful too, and one of the reasons that people do grow them. Next up is sweet potatoes. Now, at this point, you can only plant sweet potatoes by the slip. What I mean by that is, I can leave my 3-part series linked below on how to start sweet potatoes, but you're not gonna wanna do it that way at this point. To do that here, you need to start very early in the year, about January, February. What I mean is you either need to have grown plants off the potatoes called slips, pretty much like the transplant version of a sweet potato, or you should still be able to buy slips either locally or online. So I've been growing sweet potato slips and actually planting them for a while now. My sweet potatoes are still producing slips, and I do have some to plant, so I'll just be taking from the ones that I've been growing. But if you don't have some, you can buy some. One that we have been doing that I've really liked here are purple sweet potatoes. They are a little different in flavor, and they're a little bit harder to get the hang of when cooking with. But they are really cool and they grow really great here in the heat. This next one is one that I have not actually done before, and that is Malabar spinach. Apparently this is a very heat-loving green that you can try. If you're behind on planting some things like we are, corn is another one that you can still start if you start it very, very early in June. So we are actually behind on planting corn. We finally got our popcorn in earlier this week, but we still need to plant our sweet corn, so you can still plant it now through early June for a late summer harvest. Next up is tomatillos. Tomatillos. You can still plant those. I believe that that's only by transplant, if I'm correct, though. I don't think that we have a long enough season to continue to be doing those by seed. Another one that you can still plant right now by transplant only, not seed, are hot peppers. So hot peppers actually love the heat, even more so than bell and sweet peppers do. So if you still wanted to get some more peppers in your garden, you could still plant some hot ones. Summer squash can still be planted. We love doing black beauty zucchini. We did crookneck squash last year. I even have some white patty pan squash in the garden. So there's lots of fun summer squash options that you can still plant in June. Another one you can still plant if you haven't gotten it in yet, and you can do this by seed, are cucumbers. We have grown cucumbers every year that we've been gardening in Texas, and not once have we not gotten a major harvest from our plant. Cucumbers absolutely love the heat here, and they're perfect if you're a beginner gardener. They're super easy to grow. You can grow pickling varieties or slicing varieties. We do both because we love to can our own pickles, but we also love to have some of those fresh ones to eat as well. The major differences between pickling and slicing is going to be the size. Pickling is going to be a lot smaller so that you can fit it into jars for pickling, but the slicing ones are going to be a lot larger cucumbers. I mean, some of them have gotten like that long, and they're definitely going to be better for the fresh eating versus the pickling. Here's another one that we haven't tried before that I think I might want to try next year, because I've seen some pretty cool videos and pictures of these beans, and I don't know, they seem so cool to me, and that's the yard long beans. So if you've tried these, I want to know, let me know down below if you liked them or not, because they seem so cool to me. But you can still plant them in June if you haven't gotten them in yet. Eggplants, which also is a member of the pepper and tomato family, can still be started by transplants in June. This is also another heat-loving crop, and one we're actually trying for the first time this year. Now that I've gotten all of the vegetables, which by the way, for all those vegetables, I would try and get them all in before like mid-June. Okay, so I understand if you're like running late on planting stuff, because most of this stuff is like, okay, you could have already planted this by now, which even for us, we haven't gotten all of our okra in, all of our sweet potatoes, corn in. I'll probably plant some more cucumbers. You want to try and do that all before mid-June. Once we get past that, it's gonna be in the triple digits. It's gonna be really hard to start things. So I highly recommend trying to get this all in before mid-June. But now let's talk about herbs. There are lots of heat tolerant herbs here. There's also a lot of herbs that will survive the winter here. So some herbs that you can start are basil. Basil is definitely a heat loving one. And if you want to, you can companion plant this with tomatoes, because apparently it makes your tomatoes taste better. Next up is oregano. We've had oregano in the garden for quite a few years now. It's been amazing. It survives the winter. We get plenty of it to store dry, and we have plenty of it to eat fresh. We love putting it on like pizza and stuff. We honestly never buy oregano. It's been great to have. And I think we have we started with maybe 2 plants. It just sort of spreads out everywhere. Next up is lemongrass. This is one I would love to add in the future, but we don't have yet. And rosemary as well. You guys can still start rosemary. The last herb that you can start in the month of June is thyme. This is also a great one to have in your herb garden. Honestly, I recommend prioritizing when you're starting planting herbs. I recommend prioritizing whatever you use the most. Now let's talk about some flowers. In the last couple of years, I've gotten pretty heavy into flowers. I used to be the person that was like, no, I don't plant any flowers because I want my entire garden to be edible. But as I've come to do more gardening, I've come to do more research, I've come to learn a lot, you tend to struggle a lot if you garden with no flowers. And the reason is vegetable flowers do not really attract pollinators. They're not really the best for them. And so you're gonna find that without planting any flowers, unless you have a lot of wildflowers around your garden that just come up and attract them naturally, you're gonna find that you have trouble with pollinators in the garden, and that's what happened with us. So I highly recommend planting at least a couple of flowers, and there are edible flowers that you can plant, and that's normally what I stick to. So you can do herb flowers, obviously, but I have found some really good edible flowers that not only work as companion plants, but also tend to bring in a lot of pollinators. The first one is marigolds. You can still plant marigolds if you haven't gotten them in your garden yet. They're great companions for a lot of plants in your garden, and the flowers are edible, and we like to throw them in salads. You can get them in pretty orange and yellow colors, but these are really gonna help bring in those pollinators to your other plants. Next up is one that I love for Texas because it is so easy, and once you plant it once, you will have it in your garden forever. And that is zinnias. Even though they're an annual, these things will literally come back year after year because they self-seed. Zinnias are so easy to grow, and the petals on the flowers are edible. Again, something that we like to throw into salad, but those pretty pink and orange blooms are going to bring in those pollinators and actually help feed them. And then in return, those pollinators are going to pollinate your other vegetables. This last one I feel like is one that a lot of vegetable gardeners plant because it's pretty obvious that you can eat them, and that's sunflowers. Sunflowers are also a very much heat-loving flower in Texas, and you can eat the whole head, you can eat the seeds. So there's lots of great ways to use sunflowers, and you can still plant them if you want to. So I hope that list was helpful for you. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments down below. Give this video a thumbs up, and if you're new, don't forget to subscribe.